Okay, we're back for another episode. The reason I quote the episode is because I'm like, it wasn't, I said in the last episode, the last video I posted, well, maybe last, I've now posted, I think, three. I posted the leverage, the impact formula as well, the Hendricks theory. Look, okay, so I got a Hendricks method. I got my own method now. Because I feel, now you can argue with me on this, that I've created a new field of study called quantum philosophy, where I mix quantum physics. And I know I'm not the first to do it. Shout out to Flint Skidmore. Flint Skidmore is an inspiring guy. Like his podcast, he talked about some similar stuff. But quantum physics and philosophical principles to build a robust framework that I call quantum philosophy, and specifically my belief within it is the Hendricks method. Um, I guess in saying that, I was like, there's not much in the way of introduction here, so it's kind of straight into it. But if these are going to be episodes, because when I realized that this could be a series, like I said, I the second video that I posted, and I'm like, yo, this has just the potential to be a series that I can push forward, and I've been needing and wanting to. That's the reason I got. So I'm recording on my Google Pixel Pro XL. That's like my name, Marcus Elliott Smith Hendricks Jr. Google Pixel Pro XL. That's a lot of words, but it's, as you can see, it's got a lot of names for a lot of reasons, clearly. But in saying that, where was I going with that? In saying that, no introduction, well, the Hendricks method, that's, you got my full government, so my whole government on record in that case, but as if everything we have isn't on record in that case. The Hendricks method, it's a theory for human potential through a lens of quantum philosophy. It's a beautiful framework. And speaking of beautiful frameworks, that's what I want to discuss today. It's a beautiful framework for a company called Alternative Capital. It just, at this point, it's getting so, it's, when you, Drake once said, I would never make up names for myself than change the names that I just gave to myself. And I can say that there's been a lot of iterations to what is now Alternative Capital. But what it stands as today, this is the name that it has had since it's stood as what it is, and it is what it will be going forward. Alternative capital is the future. What I did in the first two videos is read in conversation the way I do with ChatGPT. So I read it from here, given context of where my thought process is coming from, but also because the gifts that I was blessed with, the gift of gab and being a tangential thinker, as I'm reading through this, I'm going to be, like I did in the first two, as I said, sparking, and the last one as well, be bringing ideas to the fold that are not here and bringing this discussion back to the camera. So in doing so, I have a couple different things that I'm going to be pulling from this one, from the ChatGPT and from the computer. Give me a second, I'm going to turn my heat down. Save the planet. Like the bookshelf? All right. So, forgive my squeaky chair. Like I said, I'm going to be pulling from a couple different sources. They're all me, but me and ChatGPT. See, I'm a poet. I didn't even know it. I did know it. I'm a poet. I'm a comedian. Again, in the sense of an introduction, like I said, I was thinking, if you're here watching this, my hope is that you're being introduced to me from somewhere else, that you've been brought through to me, and now this is your throughway into my content and to my ideas, the projects that I'm venturing into, and just because this whole thing is called the call to build, and the ideas behind bringing a light and a camera and insight into what I'm building and how it's being built, and who the person behind the building is, right? In this day and age, you have to put a face to the you. While I can be behind the scenes, the curtain kingmaker, also when you're the curtain kingmaker and the king, in this context, the king of your castle, because the building is what we're talking about, you kind of have to be on Front Street. So that's what this is. This is my Front Street. This is my Marcus Hendricks Front Street. So anyway, yeah, call to build, alternative capital. I just sent in my Y Combinator application this past weekend, and I'm like, I don't know how to feel about it. We'll see. I feel good, but you never know. Also, you never know. So I'm hopeful, I'm excited, I'm prayerful. And that's that on that. What is all good? So I talked in the last, like I said, I talked in the last video. What that point was for the second one to be was what this one is going to be. But I got so deep and felt just called to talk about what I did talk about. Talk about the call to build. There's more than one calling within it, not just to build, but the call to speak, the call to lead, the call to guide, the call to invest, the guide to restore. I mean, the call to restore, the call to be the salt of the earth, the call to have dominion, the call to be fruitful and multiply. There's a bunch of callings within the call to build, but I feel the call to build is a very simple way to describe. That feeling that I feel like what I imagine Noah must have felt like. Like there is this nagging feeling like, hey, there's something coming, and not just something, like it's a very clear something. And I'm being told this is the build. This is part of the build. The whole point is I in talking about who inspires me, Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, is like major mentor for me. And he always talks about writing the vision and making it plain. Well, not just that he talks about it, but on his Secret to Success podcast, Jamal King, who's one of his closest confidants and conglomerates, he always talks about writing the vision and making it plain. So that's one of the things they bring up often. And so if I can say, this is just papers from the past 2.5 weeks. Some of these are blank pages. There's a handful of blank pages here. But these are notes just from the past 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks of writing the vision and making it as plain as possible. Here's what will happen now. Here's what happened then. Here's why that didn't work, and here's why this will work. Here's if this doesn't work, why this will work in its place. This is the did I bring up the Hendricks method already here? This is part of the Hendricks method. This is the physical part of it. This is the human potential has to be put on paper almost. It has to be expressed in such a way. There's different ways to do so, and I do so in different mediums. That's what this is. That's what this is from ChatGPT. That's what I do with my phone, with my notes. That's why I have 2 phones. Anyway, I ended the last episode, or at some point toward the end, was talking about the Nipsey interview that's quoted in the song That's How I Knew, and part where he says it's like a gold rush. Giants gonna crumble, newcomers gonna pop up out of nowhere. It's gonna be dramatic, and that is something that I have it plays in my head on loop on a regular basis. Loop. That's not an onomatopoeia, but it feels like a loop. It looks like one. I don't know what you would call a word that looks when you say it. Excuse me, like what it sounds like. So yeah, this is show notes from chat, but going through it, and I'll be honest about reading in that way, but the thing is, like I'm reading some of this for the first time. So this moment in history is not an accident. Everything we see, economic instability, rising debt, declining trust in institutions, is part of a shift. What we're witnessing isn't the end of wealth, it's a redistribution of it, but only for those who are ready. Are we going to watch it happen, or are we going to position ourselves to build the new world? And in saying that, Ray Dalio that's what this building this, doing this Call to Build series was inspired by, was Ray Dalio saying, his book, How Countries Go Broke, dropping, and my pulling from it, I'm like, we're coming, there is a reckoning on the way. It's right where the cliff is here, we're driving toward the cliff. And to say this moment in history is not an accident, it's not, because we're driving toward a cliff. Here's the thing about driving toward a cliff. Autonomous driving is new, okay? This car that we're driving toward the cliff is not self-driving. Or you know what? Here's the thing. If it is, ain't that just as bad? Isn't that worse? Because we invented the technology? Regardless, my point is, we've driven ourselves off this cliff. Everything we see, economic instability, rising debt, declining trust in institutions, is part of a shift. Now, here's the thing about driving ourselves off this cliff. It was destined. It was destined to happen. We were doing it. We were doomed, but it was destined. The damnation was destined. So we were already headed in that direction. It's a part of the game. What we're witnessing isn't the end of wealth. It's that word, I'm not a fan of redistribution. Maybe can I just slow it down? It's a redistribution of it, but only for those who are ready. Are we going to watch it happen? Or are we going to position ourselves to build the new world? Well, that's the whole point of alternative capital. It itself is a redistribution of wealth, but also what we're seeing in the world is a redistribution of wealth. Here's the thing about a redistribution of wealth. Like, somebody, I don't know how, so I say somebody, maybe a couple of somebodies brought up that when we talk about this giant wealth transfer from the boomer generation down, that is, and I guess I'm just counting boomer generation down, that it's not in the sense of liquid cash. It's not capital. It's assets. It's businesses. It's land. It's real estate. It's stocks. It's trust. I'm like, wow, that's interesting, because what does that say for the people who are not willing to run the business? Or they just want to sell it. They just want to sell the assets off. They don't want to manage the company. They don't want to, be the next CEO. They don't want to property manage or do property management or have to, maintain real estate. And they sell all this stuff off. Well, the rich are going to get richer. The people already in position that are climbing right now, they're going to, and the corporations, they're going to buy that up. But we're also in position, alternative capital, and everybody that's aligned with me and my company, is that, okay, acquisitions. We'll go, but we'll buy your small businesses. Or you don't sell it, put it in a portfolio with us. And this is me thinking off the cuff right now. This portfolio part, we build portfolio businesses, even around the small businesses, rev share type beat, something, I don't know, and you don't have to run a thing. We got to manage. We'll build a management company that sources talent, CEO, like leadership, executives, and then like on the also like, because I already today, and I'll bring up, sorry, I'm getting over a cough. I wouldn't say a cold as much as a cough. But I can pinpoint exactly where that idea came from. But I thought also, the portfolio management company could be called Legacy Financial. Nice. Legacy Financial. Got alternative capital and legacy financial. So alt cap is the fund, it's the investment tool, it is the community. I love what ChatGPT described it as, the culture-backed community investment venture, something like that. Nice. But legacy financial would be, the portfolio asset wealth management company, the private wealth management, where, we'll instill leadership, executives, talent. You don't have to worry about a thing. And no, not like in a, genuinely, and you don't have to worry about a thing. We got you. And so again, like how the vision evolves, it's crazy where this even started at. This idea of management of talent, or being in position to give resources to the people who need it, that to just allow them to sit back and do what they do. That this has evolved from doing that with creative. But you know what's funny? I keep thinking recently, when I made my first website for the Hendrix Company, which is the umbrella of everything, but when I made that first website for it, and I was talking about my creative company, the creative management company that I wanted to build, the branding and build blueprint. Yes, oh my gosh. I talked specifically, I was like on the about page, I had a hard time deciding. I didn't want to say disrupting the creative industry, because I was like, it's more than just that. I wanted to say disrupting all industry, disrupting the status quo, changing the paradigm, changing the way things have been done, and doing them differently from here on out. That's what this is. It's a redistribution of everything. It is a shift in the way that we do life. And the way we do life together. And for who? Who benefits from it? Who participates in it? all around. Notice, I haven't, none of this is coming from this computer, nor was it planned. This is true. This is just the truth. Okay? So, are we going to watch it happen? Or are we going to position ourselves to build the new world? Because again, a new world, we are on the precipice of a enormous shift in everything. PT on his podcast today on the call, wink, wink, the call, he talked about stretch and strike in preparation for the shift. You got to be prepared to strike. That's what alternative capital is building for the beginning, for the middle, and for the after. We're positioning we're putting ourselves in position. We're positioning ourselves in such a way that we will be building wealth and creating new wealth for people who it wasn't available to, partnerships and building infrastructure and initiatives that will be able to continue, so that when this thing does come, they will be able to be fallen into almost as the next wave of, okay, as long as we're steady and continuing to build this and we don't abandon this, we're gonna make it out on the other side okay. And once we make it out on the other side okay, now it's time to ramp it up and really attack the yard, as they say in football. Once we get out of this thing, and the thing is, the only way we get out of this thing is by going through it. But not just going through it, building through it. We have to build through this. And that's what I think I'm realizing now, like literally in this moment. That's what the people who made it big, and you look up and you're like, yo, how did they make it out of a crisis? How, when everybody else went down, they rose up? What was it? Well, they built. They were building before, they didn't stop during, and afterward they continued and they sped it up. That's what this is. Okay? So the vision for AltCap. It's a new financial infrastructure for a new era. It's not just an app, it's not just a platform, it's a system, like it's a mindset shift, a new way of interacting with capital. Again, like here's the crazy thing about that is, in this age of AI, capital means something complete. It'll mean, like, not just in this age of AI, but of automation, of technological advancements that we've never seen before, of digital currencies. Capital will mean something completely different than it's ever meant. But here's why I think it's even crazier. Capital once meant me, and in certain places still does. So what does it mean to come from a world where just 150 years ago, I was capital, I was livestock, but would have been considered, I don't even like speaking like that, excuse me, but would have been considered capital. And again, here's the thing, like labor today still is capital. On the books, like it is capital. You pay for labor just like you pay for machinery. And they're capital, just like you pay for a loan. That's capital. But where we're going, one, the mindset itself, the system is the capital. And I think we're coming to a point now where the people will become the capital again. But because again, they always were. And in the social media age, the people have been the capital. And that's where I'm going. I'm like, oh, that just made me excited. That's why I set up the way I did. Because in social media age, the people have been the capital in two different ways. We've been the capital as consumers, but also creators have been the capital because they bring us to the platforms. Well, that's where we're going. Because it's a social investment driven platform as well on the investment side. So as far as community investing, so my vision is people like Wall Street Trapper, Ian Dunlap, and these are the ones I know, the culture back, the ones that the culture are behind. Rashad Bilal, Troy Millions, Learn Your Leisure Guys, 19 Keys, these culturally relevant investors. Man, so what did they get on this platform, on our AltCap app, the Cap app, Alt app, I don't know, Alt app, alternative app, I don't know, we'll find a name. The AltCap app, And again, just the fact that this exists, this is 2 years in the making. That I didn't. It's more than that, and it is. We know that, but like I realized also this evening that I had a vision for this app 2 years ago, and it wasn't this app, but it only would have become this app had it been what it was then. Yeah, same thing with the branding company. Had that not been what it was then, this would have never been what it is now. Anyway, where social media got it right is the congregation of the people, of the masses. Yeah, the thing that Twitter had going forward in the beginning, and still does, but really did in the beginning, was that it was the internet's town hall, right? It was where we all came to debate it out, to catch news, and people still do, but it's different now because you have your big creators and then your very niche creators, and you'd have seemingly little interaction with the actual community, unless you are, I don't know, and I don't use it anymore, X, whatever you call it, so I can't speak to it. But Instagram's the same way. You seem to see your specific people, your niche likes, and then your big people. Maybe. What if you could follow the investors that you believe in, that you trust, or that you want to, know more about, in the same way that you would if you were part of their private, mastermind investment communities, but also get the education from them. So Trap could put his content on there, he could go live from there, he could do his show on there, he could interact with his fans on there, with the community on there, he could do courses on there, and then people can track his investment and invest along with him. Okay? A new way of interacting with capital. Again, social media maybe had the thing right as far as bringing everybody together. And because, okay, so here's 19 Keys. I've only been a little bit watching his Breakfast Club interview, but he said something that I was like, interesting, but I disagree with it. Here's why. He talked about a new social media being where, like, credibility for people's information being off a prediction rate. So this person, 90% prediction rate. And I think, again, that's what would exist here. Here's how accurate this person's been in their investment, and their prediction on the market, and their prediction on global economics, on our national economic system, on government policy, on whatever. Like, here's their credibility rating. Give them a real trust score, yeah. But social media had that. He said, he was like, and that would be how I'm like, well, here's the thing. Yeah, probably one of the bigger issues right now, and what scares me about AI, I've talked about this, is going forward. Okay, so 3 things I'm going to talk about here. 1, how AI can be corrupted by the ignorance of today that's been brought along by social media. Why the ignorance is a byproduct, or like is a core feature of social media today, and then continue on the counter argument to 19 Keys. So, and I'm going backwards. From the middle. Social media, the information on there, well, at some point, to start with AI. What I fear happening is that AI will, and I don't know at what level and for who, but I do believe at the least level today, and then just like the base level usage of it, like if you're using it for its most cheating for a test, like the amount of students if they see me using ChatGPT earlier today, and kid was like, "Oh, ChatGPT is considered cheating." 1, I'm 24 years old. I'm not a student in high school. I'm not using it for school anyway. So, but they all assume that you can only use ChatGPT for cheating. The AI is only usable for cheating. Probably because they don't know that AI exists everywhere else. Most people don't. And has for a long time. What do you think Photoshop is? Anyway, the idea that I was talking to my cousin that's a senior in high school, and I was telling her, the idea that, so imagine if you are a 9th grader who is not a great writer, or doesn't enjoy writing, or does not write often enough to flex your writing muscle, as most of them are. Okay, and you go to ChatGPT and you say, write me an essay like a 9th grader, and it does so. Now, here's the thing. That's what teachers are for. And that's what fact checkers, that's what teachers are in that case. That's what they are for. That's what fact checkers are for. But what happens when the fact checkers don't know what they're talking about? Or in writing is a little bit different because it's subjective in a way, but it's also technical. So there are aspects of it that you can, but what happens when, you say, for your sake, write this like a ninth grader, and it writes it like a ninth grader, and to you, that's what a ninth grader, but you have no idea what a ninth grader writes like. Not only because you don't know what a ninth grader writes like, but you also are not a ninth grader who writes, even though you're a ninth grader who should be writing. So you don't know it's just like you don't know what you don't know, but you also don't know what you should know, or what you do know, and even worse, you may not know a thing. So you don't know everything and you know nothing. And when it comes, and then you go to something that you expect to know everything and not know anything, double negative, I know, I do know. And when you come to it, you trust what it gives you. Well, at some point, here's the thing of what I was getting at so even if you're a teacher, you keep reinforcing that this is what a ninth grader writes like. And at some point, that becomes what a ninth grader writes like. It's Schrodinger's cat, it's a self-reinforcing cycle, it's a lot of things. But what it is a travesty. It's a damn shame is what it is. But what it really is a byproduct of what's happened on social media and search. The echo chamber, the confirmation bias that exists through the internet. The way in which not only do you only see what you already agree with, and are you only fed what's going to reaffirm and confirm what you already believe, but even more, what you believe may not be true. And if everybody that y'all are in one circle of agreement on some dumb stuff, I just forced myself in real time not to say the BS word. I'm getting strong mentally. I'm getting real mentally strong. Anyway, I mean, can't you tell? Sorry. No, for real, can't you tell? Anyway, what's happening is everybody's agreeing on the same nonsense. And once 8 billion people agree on the same nonsense, well, it is what it is. That's how Donald Trump got in office. Twice. So to 19 keys, again, like even in the sense of the fact checkers, well, I agree. We should have that. And we did have that. And it got corrupted by likes and money and fame and what we call influencers and the creator economy and the attention economy. All these things ruin the thing that was supposed to be a pretty, probably objective, meritocratic environment. At least could have been. It could have been. Because in the same way that they say, put your content out there, there's 8 billion people in the world. There's somebody for everybody. Yeah. But if so-and-so got 500 million followers, just because there's somebody or everybody's interested in something, one, they got to see it. It's got to reach them. And if it takes me consistently posting every day for so and so long to get traction, well, here's the thing. How am I going to get traction if everything I'm saying, if a lot of what I'm saying is contrary to popular belief? The algorithm's not going to feed me to people. And if it doesn't, and if I talk about God, my record won't get played, huh? Well, if it take away from my spins, and I hope it take it, but it's going to take away from my ends. But that's not the point. Anyway, I do agree. I think we can do that. And that's what alternative capital will be built to do. The app of it will be built to do, is to promote the people who know what they're talking about and have the proof to back it up. The proof is in the profit, baby. Hey, that's what we're going to call it. The proof is in the profit. Because what do I say? I can turn a parable to a poor man, make him a prophet. Profit. The proof is in the profit. Proof of progress, proof the process. Proof is in the profit. Tell them about it. All right. So the problem, the old wealth system is rigged. I feel like I love that, a new financial infrastructure for a new era. That's a tagline. That's a tagline. A new financial infrastructure for a new era. And then under it, NWO. The problem, the old wealth system is rigged. The current financial system was built for those who were already inside. The barriers to entry are intentional. The same institutions that profited for decades off regular people's labor are now struggling because the system is unsustainable. Again, so here's the thing about that. What inspired, you think about, like, as I can trace back exact points that are underlying values and principles that were spawned up here from things I heard that, I lived through this. When I heard, how many people, specifically recently, Scott Galloway, Professor G, Prof G, talk about how, my generation and the generation after me were stolen from, and that just came to mind too. Remember, he talks about how the generation before, and that's what's funny, talking about the boomers passing down these assets and all this stuff, but they won't pass it down in capital because they're going to force you to work. You're going to learn the value of hard work. The reason I know hard work is because I don't have any money because there's no money to be had. Also, Social Security is not going to be around. Yeah, y'all ruined this world for us. Anyway, they borrowed from the future to live their present, and now we're paying the bank. We're going bankrupt, and we're paying for it. Papa was a rolling stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he died, all he left us was alone. That's what's happened. And we're paying the debt. Because the system is unsustainable. The same institutions that profited for decades off regular people's labor are now struggling because the system is unsustainable. The current financial system was built for those who were already inside. Again, what something else Scott Galloway brings up is the way that if you had invested in certain stock in 2000, if you'd invested in Apple stock in 2000, you would have made, if you had invested in the internet, if you had bought an internet company in 1999 and sold it in 2000 when the dot-com bubble, you would have made, yes, true. And you can conjure up quite a few reasons as to why people that look like me didn't take advantage of it. I pinpointed to knowledge, to information. But here's the thing about it. You would say, well, they didn't go to college, they dropped out of high school, they had a baby young, they were on drugs. You're right. Violence, they got killed, they went to jail. You're right. All these things did occur. And I would ask you why. The barriers to entry are intentional. And you would think the barriers to entry are capital. You would think the barriers to entry are financial. You would think the barriers to entry are information and knowledge. Yes, they are. That's the core of it. We didn't have the money. We didn't have the information. We didn't know it was happening. But why? Why didn't we know it was happening? Because the barriers to entry are intentional. You want to keep it from a nigga? Put it in the book. That's not what I'm prescribing. I'm saying that's the thought process. That's the method. I talk about the reason, again, another thing that inspired this is that the reason the system is unsustainable is the same institutions that profited for decades off regular people's labor are now struggling. Those institutions once profited off of regular people's labor, off of human beings. They profited off of the blood, sweat, and tears of humans. I can't speak to the evil that men do. I can only speak for the things that I've been through. Well, I know what I've been through, and it's the evil that men do. The reason the system is unsustainable is not because of the system, it's because of the people in it. The people in it are corrupt to bad to the bone. They're bad to the bone. In the book, in the Millionaire Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, T. Harv Eker, he says in one of the chapters I just finished, like chapter 7, he talks about how trust. You only, people that get rich because they can be trusted with money. Like people trust them with money. Like, yeah, that's true. But we also know that there's a good old boys club within it. And the people that get rich trust each other because they should trust each other to trust each other to trust each other. So I don't know if we can say we can trust them. Because the people, the same institutions that profited for decades off regular people's labor are now struggling because the system is unsustainable. Not only were we straddled with debt from luxuries we did not enjoy, we're receiving rotten fruit of a tree we didn't plant, whose roots we cannot dig up. The barriers to entry are intentional. The current financial system was built for those who were already inside. And the system is unsustainable. All of the above. You pick it, you name it. The point is, we're not focused on the problem, we're focused on the solution. Alternative capital is access. Do you like I did that? That was on the spot. Alternative capital is access. Yeah, my motto within it is alternative capital is a fintech platform and investment service designed to expand access to education, equity, and advancement for underserved communities. And I'll find investment service. I'll find somewhere fintech platform and service. It's fintech platform and service designed to expand access to education, equity, and advancement for underserved communities. Access is that key word. It's a blueprint for community-driven wealth. And again, now we've added this update. I'll move on to it. Is the social investment community-driven wealth. It's really cool. It really is. It's so cool. I mean, I think what's cool about it is like it literally. I don't remember who exactly said it. I have my book of quotes in my phone, but a lot of things that I heard before I started doing that, and even some that are in there, I don't recall who said it, and that's okay. I give credit where credit is due when I'm able, and I try, but I'm always gonna say, hey, this wasn't me. Or here's why, in case it's wrong. No. Somebody said that, I think I saw it on Twitter, that a business, the best businesses evolve, are extensions of the individual, of the CEO. And Wall Street Trapper talks about his favorite businesses are the ones that are run by the founder because they're in it. They're still in it. That's what this is going to be. I'm not leaving. Oh, I'm not leaving, baby. I'm not leaving. I'm gonna have my Wolf of Wall Street moment if I'm not going anywhere. No. But within that, I know Sam. Ooh, Sam, Sam Altman. I'm calling my shot right now. I'm saying it right now. When me and Sam sit down and have that first conversation over a cup of Earl Grey. Oh my gosh. I'm like, bro. So I got so many questions. One, you know that TV show was based on you, right? Silicon Valley. You know that TV show is based on you, right? Oh my gosh, love it. Anyway, what am I talking about? Blueprint for community-driven wealth. Social impact-driven platform. I'm not going anywhere. Have my Wolf of Wall Street moment. Best companies are run by the founder. CEO, the best business are extension of the CEO or of the individual. And they evolve as the individual evolves. Well, what did I say? This has fully evolved. Every iteration isn't the reason I can pinpoint exact moments of it is because all I'm doing is pinpointing moments of my life. Here's the thing. Okay. A new financial infrastructure for a new era. Not just an app, not just a platform. Okay. I am a new model for a new era. And not just myself, but people like me. Jaylen Brown, Jalen Hurts, Yara Shahidi. Young, aspirational, Black excellence that you can look at and say, here's more Black CEOs. That's my motto. So that's what this is. That's what I am. Okay? A system, a mindset shift, a new way of interacting with capital. Again, even within the words a system, I said the system ain't broke as much as the people within it are. So my theory is that, okay, let's put the right people in place and let's see how this rocks out. That's why I say a new way of interacting with capital, because we are the capital still, but let's see how this rocks out when we're not just the capital, but we are the CEO as well. Because that maybe is the thing too, is that for too long, the CEO, not enough CEOs have been willing to be the capital as well. Intellectually, physically, sweat equity from the grind. That's the best CEOs are willing to be the capital as well. I believe it. I believe it. A mindset shift. That's what we're talking about. It's a way to move like institutional investors, but at the level of individuals and small groups. The key is intelligent capital movement. And that's really what it is. Again, imagine if, okay, excuse me, Wall Street Trapper in 2000 says, yo, this company called Apple is about to blow. Marcus Hendricks in 2000 said this company called Apple is about to blow. Hey, we're going to sue, invest our money, pool our money together, and we're going to buy in. And if it doesn't work, we invest it together, so we don't have as much But the upside, and here's the thing, as you make more, put it back in. Don't touch it. Reinvest. And here's the thing, we're all young, right? So we're all going on to where we'll end up having, so as we make more money, Sound familiar? Sound like something some people, if I sound I'm a little pissed off. Because don't it sound familiar? Doesn't it sound like something some people have been doing behind our backs, in front of our faces for a very long time? The key is intelligent capital movement. So I think I talked about it in the last one, that I got inspired by Nipsey. No, it may have come afterward, but that he invested in a company called Followcoin. And what Followcoin was designed to do, what inspired Nipsey or what attracted him was so Followcoin's main thing was cryptocurrency, but you could follow the top investors in cryptocurrency and mirror their investments. Interesting. Because I also had a thought, and here's the thing, actually, it's not far off from what I'd already thought of. My idea was, the same way people just give content creators money, here, have it. What if instead they they bought into a fund that the content creator owns, and the creator invests that fund with, a hedge fund or like a real institutional investors, like for real does it, and the people get dividends. And then the content creator, they can make entire, things like Kai Cenat can make an entire thing out of an earnings call. I was like, that's what this feels like. So chat says what Followcoin got right and where it fell short. What attracted me to Followcoin, it was built on the idea that access to knowledge creates wealth. If people could see how experienced investors move, they could follow and profit. What we can learn from it. The vision was right, the execution didn't go far enough. It was focused on only one asset class, crypto, when the real power is in controlling capital across multiple arenas, talking real estate, talking land, talking gold, commodities, art, investment properties. We're talking just across the board, businesses, boring businesses that run in a drought, everything, securities. Hell, if oil was gonna run that long, why didn't we own some oil? Oh, because we got our land taken. How alternative capital expands the vision. Instead of just following wealth movement, we create intelligent capital ecosystems. And that's what it is. Because again, the thing about it is like you can dibble dabble in a couple different investors, creators, funds, and track their investments, or you can back just one whale. Hell, once we start putting hedge funds into this mug, individual hedge funds, because again, like that's pretty much what Robinhood and any trading platform is giving you the ability to buy into individual stocks. What if I allow you to just like the same and allow you to buy into individual stocks and ETFs and index funds, all the same way you would on a trading platform, But instead of just being able to do that and just being able to do social media, and then those creators having to go to multiple different places to interact with their community, what if we all house them? Spotify inspired this. I love Spotify. Spotify is trying to become a super app, and it's doing a great job at it. It's a one-stop shop. You get concert tickets, merch, damn near watch movies in that mug. Soon enough, TikTok inspired, Instagram inspired, Facebook inspired. Yeah, Zuck, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at Meta. I'm coming for spots too, by the way. I'm coming for spots. I mean that. Do I mean that? I'm coming for spots. Put me on the 30 for 30 today. Why do my glasses feel crooked? Are they? Put me on the 30, put me on the 30 under 30 today. I'm trying to be 25, sitting on 25 mil soon. Oh, I haven't even talked about the way that this is gonna, the way this is gonna IPO is gonna be tokened. It's gonna be tokenization. And okay, you can call it ambitious. You can call me ambitious, but you can't call me broke. Well, I'm a struggling artist, okay? I'm a starving artist. But, Steve Jobs dropped the iPhone and Liquorware today. He got an app store, there was the iTunes store, here's the truth. If I don't end up fighting an antitrust case, I haven't done my job. I'm just be honest. Like if I don't, that's why I'm like, I'm looking through, I keep trying to, the legality, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to hire so many lawyers. So I'm going to law school. If I have, let me shut up. Anyway, there will be a lot of lawyers for alt cap. We'll have to hire a lot of lawyers. Because it's convoluted. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's a convoluted process. But here's the thing, I can explain every bit of it. There's a method to the madness. There really is. There's a method to the madness. The power isn't just in tracking trends, it's in strategic positioning before they happen. And again, that's the thing, is recognizing, okay, here's the coolest thing. It's not just in tracking trends or positioning before they happen, it's creating them. What happens in a world, because that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. So what if we create the trends, invest in the trends? FUBU! FUBU, baby, FUBU! How alt cap prepares us for what's coming. The coming economic shift, recession, inflation, banking uncertainty. What happens when confidence in banks erodes? What happens when traditional investment vehicles fail to deliver returns? What happens when people finally realize debt-driven economies are unsustainable? Alternative capital is the response. Private capital movements will be the new power, as if they're already not. Again, that's the thing that people don't like about private capital, is private, venture funds, is that it's dark, it's kind of dark money. It's like a dark pool. There's little regulation, there's little insight to what's going on there. And not that I'm saying that's what I'm aiming for. Again, I want to be regulated at such a level that I'm like, hey, if you even think I'm about to get stepped wrong, don't sue me, tell me. I'm gonna fix it. We're gonna fix it. If something we're doing isn't legitimate, now here's the thing, I will go to England. I will go global. I'm going global anyway, so hey. But tell me, don't sue me, tell me. That's our other motto. Don't sue me, tell me. Let me know. Before it becomes an issue, let me know. Private capital movements will be the new power though. I do believe that, I also am inspired by Uber and Airbnb. Airbnb coming at a time where the housing crisis, the financial market the real estate market, financial market too, but the real estate market collapses and comes along to say, well, people still need places to stay when they travel. And we're going to open up a lane where people are going to trust themselves to Like their space to be used by another individual and themselves to be in another individual space. That's a bold move. But it's not private capital, but it's private. I, I don't know what, there's a word I can't think of, but the idea that you came in and said, not only is this going to change the way that we, introduce a new paradigm of wealth, introduce a new investment class, a new way of doing business, a completely new way of doing travel and leisure, like new industries, build completely new industries off of this, new vertical industries, as well as, careers, like jobs. We're going to create an entire economy around this. And a new way of doing, because Uber is a byproduct of that. Lyft is a byproduct of that. DoorDash, Uber, all these different, dare I say, Amazon. I don't know which one is new or which one came out first, but all these things, this idea that we now have our individual, because that's where we've been headed, but are headed, and that's I think what would be the coolest thing about it is that while this will remain like your ability to invest as an individual, it'll be community focused. It's community driven. It doesn't work without community investment. It literally doesn't. If one person decides that they want it, it doesn't work. You gotta tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. But just like you like, hey, this video is hilarious. Hey, they're talking about something here. They got something here. You should look at this. That's where we need to go. So that's why, it'll be the new power. Those who control where capital flows will determine the future. Wealth will no longer be about owning the most. It will be about moving the smartest. And again, like the smartest way you can move, especially as humans, I think is together. You call it socialism, but it's capitalism at its finest. I think capitalism works best when it's done socially, when it's done collectively. When capitalism is done, teamwork makes the dream work, and the dream is the American dream, and the American dream is to make capitalism, to make it in capitalism. Well, the whole idea is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Well, we're looking to go far quickly so that we can sustain it over a long period of time, forever. That's how you build generational wealth. You need an exponential increase that you can then use to compound and get great returns over a long period of time, so that you're not only getting large lump sums, but you're getting it. That's like the thing about the lottery, right? The rich people don't do money the same way the lottery does. You can either get yours in installments or you can get a lump sum. This is saying you can get a lump sum in installments. That's what investing is. That's what exponential growth and compounding is. That's what exponential compounding growth is. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It is the eighth wonder of the world. It's beautiful. What alternative capital will do? Writing a plan. Crowd intelligence investing, a decentralized way for community. And you know what? Because we're nearing an hour, I'm going to cut it here and I'll do the other tomorrow or like in the next video. So we'll say this is the core of it, but there's some developments that I've talked about absolutely here. It's the follow coin, the social investment side of it, and there's something else. That's the main piece of it. But there's some things I want to bring up that from the other side. Crowd intelligence investing, a decentralized way for communities to move capital together based on proven market intelligence. Strategic capital networks, groups with shared financial goals, moving like hedge funds, but without the middlemen. And I haven't even talked about the migration support platform. and that part of it is so cool. I mean, and I guess that maybe is a separate app. I don't know. That's a conversation. I need to sit down and talk it out with my Y Combinator coaches, I guess. So, yeah, groups with shared financial goals, moving like hedge funds, but without the middleman. And again, like the idea that investing in your own community. So, okay, hey, here's an initiative. You vote on it and put your money toward this. Because even that too, you don't just have to invest with it or put your money behind the investors. Hey, here's this community project that we're putting up for vote, just like you would if you were going to vote on it for like a prop in your town. Hey, public-private partnership. We're gonna put this up. Vote on like you would a prop. Like when J. Cole said on brackets, why can't I pick the things I'm funding from an app on my screen? Well, that's what this is. So, hey, okay, we're gonna put this community center here and we need this XYZ, and maybe it's in lieu of property taxes or instead of a public improvement district. I don't know. I'm thinking through now actively, but there's more to it. There's something there. I know it. Dynamic asset allocation, not just stocks, not just crypto, land, business acquisitions, alternative assets. That in itself, I think that's self-explanatory. A system to build generational wealth efficiently. The current model is slow, outdated, and gatekept. This system is designed to multiply wealth quicker and smarter. Just talked about that. So in closing, it's not just an idea, it's a necessary evolution. I really do believe so. I think we are at the point we're at just in general as a society feels like it can be described as necessary evolution. I think that's where we're at. The giants are going to fall. That's inevitable. And who are the giants? Don't leave it to me to I don't know. Those who position themselves correctly now will own the next era. That's what this is about. This isn't about waiting for the system to collapse. It's about creating something better while the old one crumbles. Talked about that before. If you build now, build a solid foundation today, and build through on the other side, well, that's when this system is designed to multiply wealth quicker and smarter. Alternative capital is not a concept. It's the infrastructure that will support our version of wealth. The question is, who's ready to build it? And that really is the question. That's the question for real. Who's ready to build it? Where's my co-founder? Where's my technical co-founder? But who's ready to build with me? This is the call to build. This is the call to build. Now, Marcus Hendricks. That's all.